Good evening and welcome to the Strike Zone. I'm Andon Brabham.
And I'm Patricia Caputo.
And Trish, what a special night it's shaping up to be at 6:30. Alex Box Stadium, Skip Bertman Field, a pressure-packed weekend between the number 6 ranked Tennessee Volunteers and the number 7th ranked Fighting Tigers of LSU.
Yes, and pressure pack doesn't even begin to describe what the series feels like for both of these teams. A matchup steeped in implications for the SEC and beyond. So let's not waste any more time, and let's get right into it.
Absolutely, and let's start that with the team coming into town with a record of 33-7, the Tennessee Volunteers. This is a squad full of confidence and swagger. The defending national champs won everything there was to win last year, and that momentum is carried over once again in Tony Vitello's 8th season. A top team on the bump and in the box, the Vols boast the second best staff ERA in the SEC with a 3.17, having struck out the 3rd most hitters in the SEC and walking the 3rd least number of hitters, led by a 3-headed monster of a rotation with Liam Doyle, Marcus Phillips, and Tegan Coons. At the plate, Tony V's squad is arguably even more dangerous, with the 3rd best batting average in the SEC and the 2nd most home runs in the conference. The Vols are bashing better than ever. Coming off their 2nd series loss in 3 weeks to unranked Kentucky and an 11-1 win over Lipscomb on Tuesday, Vitello and the Vols are looking to get back right against the Tigers and assert themselves in the upper echelons of college baseball.
I think there's a sense of urgency based off last weekend, but also just a sense of urgency as we get closer to May. That's when you want to know who your best guys are and where guys need to go. And you're going into a place that's as difficult to win as anywhere in the country. And I don't know a ton about them, but I know they have success in high school recruiting and a lot of portal recruiting, so there'll be talent on the field.
Now let's talk about the team looking to defend their Bayou territory, the LSU Tigers, who sit at number 7 in the nation with a record of 34-8 on the season. And you mentioned Tennessee is the defending national champs. A year before that, LSU Baseball took home the trophy in Omaha in Jay Johnson's 2nd season as head coach for the Tigers. While the team looks different player-wise, the team is still living up to the offensive standard of LSU Baseball. They sit at 2nd behind Arkansas in the SEC in terms of batting average with a .316, with guys like freshman Derek Curiel, Ethan Fry, and Jared Jones all leading that charge. LSU is not as dominant compared to Tennessee when it comes to pitching. This pitching staff still sits at 5th in the SEC with a .382 ERA throughout 42 games. Pitchers like Friday night starter Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson are strong suits for the Tigers. Head coach Jay Johnson and crew won the series versus Alabama at home last weekend, but suffered a 13-3 midweek loss to Northwestern State. Despite that disappointing loss, Jay Johnson hopes to ensure the team does not make the same mistakes ahead of tonight.
You can't be a prisoner to feelings, good or bad, in this game because it takes you away from execution. So, as I said, learn the lessons, okay, and then leave the moment, and then live in the next moment, and that's about preparing for this weekend.
Now, Trish, we've already touched on the implications of this weekend for these two teams, LSU and Tennessee, but from top to bottom in the conference, it's an absolute dogfight.
Absolutely, and when you take a look at the SEC standings, LSU and Tennessee deadlocked at 3rd. But there's plenty of battles throughout this conference, especially this weekend.
Obviously, the one everybody's looking out for that's already finished 2 games of their series, Oklahoma and Georgia tied for 6th in the SEC at 10-8 coming into the weekend. They're now tied again at 11-9.
Oklahoma's on fire. They outscored Mizzou 46-13 last weekend in that series. I think they win this series this weekend.
And another one people are looking out for, Ole Miss and Vanderbilt. They're also fighting for position in the conference. Obviously, top 4 teams in the conference all get a double bye in Hoover for the SEC tournament, and these teams will all be fighting for that. It's an absolutely packed weekend of baseball around the conference, and we've got even more coming up after the break. We look at some of the most impactful freshmen for the Vols and the Tigers who might just define how tonight and this weekend goes. Stay with us.
The Purple Room is back.
We're back this semester with episodes every Friday.
And we're talking the latest on everything LSU sports, news, lifestyle, and more.
And we're bringing you some exclusive interviews with top-tier guests.
The Purple Room Podcast.
Tune in every Friday wherever you get your podcasts.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. the one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink, or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking, now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed, better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead, catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to the Strike Zone, and welcome to this edition of Freshman Phenoms. I'm Jonathan Salazar, and today we take a look at some freshmen looking to make their presence felt in the upcoming series. First up for LSU, we have pitcher Kaysen Evans. Kaysen has quickly become one of the best relievers in the country. Through 12 appearances, he has a whopping 0.67 ERA, and that's good enough for third in the SEC among players with at least 10 games played. Kaysen's fastball can reach up to 97 miles an hour, making him a nightmare for any batter. Next up is pitcher William Schmidt with an ERA of 3.95 and a record of 6-0. Like Kaysen, William brings a fastball that reaches into the high 90s along with his wicked curveball. He struggled in his last outing, but looks to bounce back versus Tennessee. LSU has to watch out for Tennessee freshman Manny Marin. Marin is a utility player for the Volunteers, and he brings a hot bat. He started in 8 out of his last 10 appearances, and over that stretch, he is batting .320 with 4 RBIs. As a young player in the hot corner, he's had some trouble as of late with 4 errors over his last 5 games. LSU can take advantage of this by hitting balls his way. Next is outfielder Chris Newstrom. Newstrom is batting .400 over his last 10 games, and he was on a roll before he got ill, and since coming back, he has cooled off. Newstrom looks to find his footing and get back to raking. In a heavyweight matchup between LSU and Tennessee, these freshmen look to make their presence felt in the mound and in the batter's box. For more on the recruiting power of these two programs, back to Andon and Patricia.
Thanks, John. And with these dynamic freshmen, where all that really starts is early on in the high school recruiting process.
Derek Curiel, a guy that Jay Johnson got him to withdraw his name from the MLB draft and come play at LSU, and he's been making a huge difference leading off in that lineup this season.
Yeah, it's been absolutely dynamic for both these teams recruiting, especially LSU, having ranked inside the top 10 for 8 of the last 10 recruiting classes. LSU Baseball has re-solidified its place as one of the most prominent programs in the nation. Tiger TV sports reporter Christian Gladney provides an exclusive look into how the next generation of LSU Baseball is highlighted by some homegrown talent.
Closing the chapter of a remarkable high school career, one hometown kid will soon take the field wearing purple and gold. Ranked as the second highest baseball prospect in the state of Louisiana, senior shortstop Jack Rucker has his sights on representing the next generation of LSU baseball. Possessing a resume that includes a 2024 national championship, this Catholic Bears rising star understands the heightened responsibility of joining such a prestigious program.
It's a huge privilege. I mean, it means so much to me from being from Baton Rouge, living here. You know, I know how much it means to all these fans and this city and this state. You know, Coach Johnson just talks about getting players that can win in Omaha, and that's the goal, and I'm just going to give it everything for the city and for the state because they deserve it.
Aspiring to cement his name in the history books, Rucker looks forward to following in the footsteps of former Catholic Bear baseball players turned LSU Tiger. Take, for instance, William Schmidt. The 2024 Louisiana Gatorade Player of the Year was a teammate of Rucker last season and currently holds an undefeated 6-0 record. Notably, players such as Josh Smith, Aaron Nola, and Austin Nola have followed the Catholic to LSU to MLB pathway.
They mean so much to the school, you know, seeing how proud the school is of them. My goal is to be a big leaguer, you know. I'm going to try to make it there for them and be the next alumni.
When approaching the recruitment process, LSU baseball head coach Jay Johnson takes pride in welcoming in-state recruits to the clubhouse.
There's a lot of really good players in the state of Louisiana. I think our roster reflects that. It's been one of the best things about coming here. It made a little more sense to me why LSU had been so good historically, because of the number of really good players in the state of Louisiana, and we certainly have a lot on our team.
Stepping into the box for the Bears, senior shortstop, number 14, Jack Rucker.
Winning in dominating fashion by a final score of 12-2, the Catholic Bears finished their season with a 29-5 record and now shift their focus to securing the program's 7th state championship. Jack Rucker is also looking to put an exclamation point on the end of his high school career and carry this momentum soon under the lights of the beloved Alec Box Stadium. For Tiger TV, I'm Christian Gladney.
For the first time since 2022, LSU Baseball has the #1 rated recruiting class. Facing such elevated expectations, Rucker is eager to make a strong first impression on the Purple and Gold faithful, which he considers to be the most passionate fan base that a collegiate athlete could ever ask for. Now that we've taken a look at the future of Tiger baseball and some of the young stars defining this matchup, after the break, we're joined by a special guest to get his thoughts on the matchup. Don't go anywhere. The Purple Room is back.
We're back this semester with episodes every Friday.
And we're talking the latest on everything LSU sports, news, lifestyle, and more.
And we're bringing you some exclusive interviews with top-tier guests.
The Purple Room Podcast.
Tune in every Friday wherever you get your podcasts.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back. Joining us now is my former partner in crime, LSU Sports Director Andre Champagne. Andre, let's get right into it, talking about these LSU bats who have struggled for the last few weeks. Jared Jones being one of those guys who've gone 0 for 3, 1 for 3, 1 for 4 throughout the last few games that he's competed against. How can he ensure that that ends tonight against Tennessee?
Right, Trish. He's got to see a lot more pitches in his at-bats, quite frankly. And we've seen what he can do with his power, right? So honestly, I know it sounds a lot easier said than done, but he's got to be able to square up with the ball because that power is going to be able to just knock it out the park, especially with it being kind of hot tonight. The ball will fly. So I think just seeing the right pitches and being disciplined.
Now, Stephen Milam, he's the monster. Everyone should be scared of him unless you're in the SEC because he's batting 200. Right. So again, how can he get back into his rhythm, get out of that slump in such a highly anticipated matchup? Yeah,
Monster's in sort of a sophomore slump right now, and kind of just like Jared, he's got to be more disciplined at the plate, and it starts with the breaking ball and identifying it out of the pitcher's hands. Tonight, that's going to be a big deal, especially with Liam Doyle. So just hitting the breaking ball well.
Now, Andre, this is a big game. As we were saying, the fans are out here in Baton Rouge. Who wins this game tonight and who wins the series?
I think LSU's going to win. They're too motivated from Tuesday night. Obviously, when the lights shine brightest, LSU plays up to the best competition. So I think LSU's going to win tonight, lose tomorrow, win Sunday.
Now, Andon and I will have our prediction in just a little bit. Thank you so much, Andre. And as the Tigers gear up to make a comeback after losing 13-3 against Northwestern State, they have not lost faith, at least their fan base hasn't. Sports reporter Juliana Russell went out to get opinions from students on campus about who they think will win this weekend, and they're putting the fate in the home team.
With the LSU Tigers getting ready to take on the #6 ranked Tennessee, we wanted to come ask students who they think is going to win this weekend series, if it's going to be a hit or a miss.
Ooh, LSU's got a good defense, but Tennessee's been on a roll recently. I'm going to go 5-4, LSU in a tight one.
I think LSU's going to win 10-7. Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Ooh. That's a really good question. I think that I have faith in LSU, so I'm going to say LSU. I think the score is going to be 5-3. 5-3.
LSU 4-3.
Ready?
Okay, I think LSU's going to take the series 2 out of 3. I think Tennessee is going to win game 2. And I think that it's going to be a pretty close game if LSU can get their offense rolling. Tennessee has a good pitching staff, but we have a really good offense and a really good pitching staff as well. So I think LSU takes game 1, 5-3. Tennessee takes game 2. I'm going to say 6-0. And then on Sunday, LSU is going to take the final game of the series 2-1.
Okay, perfect. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Throw it at you. Don't hit.
Okay.
Make sure to tune in on Friday at 6:30 p.m. on ESPNU to watch the LSU Tigers take on the Tennessee Volunteers. For Tiger TV Sports, I'm Juliana Russell.
Although the Tigers did win the popular vote, the Tennessee Volunteers have a very strong offense and a loaded bullpen, so the purple and gold will have to bring the heat. And Trish, that really will start on the mound for them.
Starting hot starts on the mound for LSU, especially Cade Anderson getting the start tonight for the Tigers. Now, Cade Anderson is second in the SEC in terms of strikeouts with 91 throughout 10 games. Only behind Liam Doyle, who will be on the mound tonight for Tennessee. And Anderson is speaking volumes this season. Not only does he have a great fastball pitching within that 91 to 95 mile per hour range, he's also pitched a complete game this season, throwing 135 pitches. Nobody in the MLB has done that since 2019. So I think it will be a highly anticipated matchup, and a lot of that comes from Cade Anderson
Absolutely.
tonight.
There's a reason he's on the Golden Spikes watch list. He's been absolutely awesome for LSU this year, but Liam Doyle has been just as awesome for the Tennessee Volunteers. He's first in the SEC, like you mentioned, in strikeouts with 104. He leads the conference in ERA of all starters with a 2.48. And the big thing for Doyle is he's only walked 17 guys this year. He's got a 10-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. That makes him so dangerous, especially with that wicked changeup that he throws.
Now let's get into the guys facing off against this pair of aces, starting with the guys batting in the bottom half, the LSU Bats. Now these LSU Bats have to get it together, as you have Steven Milam and Jared Jones, who have been struggling, but the numbers are still there. Jared Jones, 13 home runs on the season and 55 RBIs. He can definitely make a difference in this game tonight if he gets out of that mini slump that he's in. Now Daniel Dickerson is a guy that we have not talked about much in this show, but he's kind of silent with Derek Curiel leading that lineup. I think Daniel can make a big difference tonight if he comes through for these Tigers.
Yeah, it's definitely a top lineup in the nation, but if there's one thing about Tony V and the Vols is that they can swing the bats with about anybody in the country. And the guy I really want to highlight for this Tennessee offense, which is second in the conference in home runs, is Hunter Ensley. He's going to be hitting in the 3-hole tonight for the Vols, most likely, playing center field, and he's going to be huge. As well as Dean Curley, a senior who's going to be hitting leadoff tonight for Tennessee. He's the guy who sets the table for the Vols and makes sure that they can stay as dangerous as they've been all year long.
Now, Andon, this will be one of LSU's toughest matchups of the season. The 3 keys of the game that I have for today is, first, get ahead early. Don't do anything too crazy. Liam Doyle is on that mound. Get ahead, be able to score runs as early as possible. Next, stick to what you know. Don't try to be fancy, especially when you're hitting against a talented pitcher. Don't take a different approach. Set the tone early. They know what to do. And last, limit those fielding errors. Jay Johnson tried an experience in midweek with Jared Jones at third base. None of that. Jay Johnson said it himself. That will limit errors, and hopefully they win against Tennessee.
Absolutely, and when we talk about limiting errors, that's not only one of the keys for LSU, but it's a huge key for the Volunteers as well if they want to get the W tonight. And that's one of the notes I have for them. This team is second in the conference in errors, only behind Tennessee, which hasn't won a game in the SEC yet. The other note I have is to work the count. If you can get Cade Anderson deep in the counts, 6, 7, 8 pitch at bats, that's when you can start winning against him. And lastly, from a mentality perspective, Tennessee's got to walk into LSU's trap, and they've got to take over their trap. It's important that they come in with a swagger and a mentality that we're better than you, and we're going to prove it this weekend. And Trish, we've broken down this game from all sorts of angles, and now it's officially time to make our predictions.
Fans are out there. I don't know if you've seen those RVs out there by Alec Box Stadium, but
Absolutely.
They are there ready to bring the fire if you're an LSU fan. I think LSU wins this matchup 9-7 tonight, but I think Tennessee wins the series.
I will agree with you on Tennessee winning the series and LSU winning the matchup tonight. I think Cade Anderson goes out there and shoves with that wicked curveball. I think LSU wins tonight 6-5, but Tennessee, their bullpen arms just stretch LSU out. They leave them in there hanging around too long. I think Tennessee wins on Saturday and Sunday and ultimately takes what is a super pivotal series in the SEC for both of these teams. That's our takes on the game, but be sure to follow us at LSU Tiger TV for all the updates from Alex Box Stadium. And also after the game, be sure to head out to Tiger TV's Battle of the Bands tonight at Fred's from 9 to 2.
And that's all we have for now. I'm Patricia Caputo.
And I'm Andon Brabham. Have a great night.